On February 3, 2026, the world is undergoing a profound transformation. The old certainties of global power are dissolving, replaced by a dynamic, unpredictable landscape. Western leadership, once unchallenged, now faces a rising coalition. The BRICS bloc. What started as an economic concept has become a force demanding a greater voice on the world stage. The group's recent expansion signals the end of a unipolar world and the rise of a multipolar reality. Even European nations are quietly reaching out to BRICS, a move unthinkable just a decade ago. This marks a pivotal moment, forcing every nation to reconsider its alliances and place in the new order. The journey ahead is complex, but understanding these changes is essential for navigating the future. To truly grasp the seismic shift happening in global power dynamics, we must first understand what BRICS is and why it matters so much today. BRICS is far more than just a catchy acronym. It represents a powerful coalition of nations that are reshaping the world order. Originally, BRICS referred to Brazil, Russia, India, and China, four rapidly developing economies that, in the early 2000s, were predicted to become the main engines of global economic growth. These countries, each with vast populations and abundant resources, began to collaborate more closely, seeking to amplify their influence on the world stage. In 2010, South Africa joined the group, extending BRICS' reach to the African continent and making it a truly global alliance. This addition was significant, as it brought in Africa's most industrialized nation and further diversified the group's perspectives and strengths. Over time, BRICS evolved from a loose economic platform into a symbol of the rising global South, a coalition of emerging nations determined to challenge the dominance of Western-led institutions and rewrite the rules of international engagement. In 2024, BRICS took a bold step by expanding its membership to include Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates. This move not only increased the bloc's population and economic clout, but also brought in new voices from the Middle East and Africa, further strengthening its global presence. The expanded BRICS now encompasses some of the world's major energy producers, controls key shipping lanes and trade routes, and represents vast consumer markets hungry for growth and innovation. Its members are central to global supply chains, energy security, and the future of international commerce. With the creation of its own financial institutions, such as the new development bank, BRICS is building alternatives to the traditional Western-dominated financial systems. These institutions fund infrastructure and development projects, giving member countries more autonomy and a stronger collective voice. Today, BRICS is no longer just an idea or a talking point. It has become a geopolitical reality, actively shaping global events, forging new alliances, and influencing international policies through coordinated action and shared interests. By championing a multipolar world, BRICS is forcing a fundamental re-evaluation of who gets to set the rules in the 21st century. As its influence grows, the world is watching closely to see how this powerful bloc will continue to transform the global landscape. The story of BRICS began in 2009, at a time when the world was reeling from a severe financial crisis. The collapse of major Western banks and the resulting economic turmoil exposed deep vulnerabilities in the global financial system, which had long been dominated by the United States and Europe. As the West struggled to recover, emerging economies saw an opportunity to come together and chart a new course. At first, BRICS was primarily an economic alliance, focused on cooperation and mutual growth. The founding members, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, sought to strengthen their economies by working together and sharing resources. But as they met and discussed their shared challenges, a new ambition emerged: to reduce their dependence on the US dollar and create a more balanced global financial system. This goal would become a driving force for the group in the years ahead. The inclusion of South Africa in 2010 was a pivotal moment. It brought not only political weight but also gave the African continent a seat at the table. With South Africa's entry, BRICS became more than just a collection of large economies. It became a platform for broader representation and influence. In 2014, BRICS took a bold step from dialogue to action by establishing the new development bank. This institution was designed to fund infrastructure and development projects, specifically tailored to the needs of emerging and developing nations, projects often overlooked by traditional Western-led banks. The bank's creation signaled BRICS' commitment to real change, not just rhetoric. The group's most dramatic transformation came in 2023, when BRICS expanded to include Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. This expansion was more than symbolic. It marked BRICS' evolution into a truly global coalition, representing diverse regions, cultures, and interests. With these new members, BRICS now spans the Middle East, Africa, and beyond, amplifying its reach and influence. Today, BRICS is no longer just a club of major emerging economies. It has become a powerful coalition for the global south, a platform where developing nations can unite, share their perspectives, and demand a greater say in world affairs. The group's diversity is its strength, allowing it to champion issues like equality, sustainable development, and fairer global governance. Of course, BRICS is not without its challenges. The member countries have different political systems, economic priorities, and sometimes even conflicting interests. Yet despite these internal differences, they are united by a common desire to reform the global order and ensure that the voices of the developing world are heard. By joining forces, BRICS aims to shape the rules of international trade, finance, and diplomacy for the 21st century. Their collaboration is about more than just economics. It's about creating a new, more inclusive world order where power is shared more equitably. With its expanded membership and growing influence, BRICS now stands as a diverse and formidable player on the world stage, one that is poised to help define the future of global cooperation and leadership. In a stunning diplomatic move, 2 European countries have quietly applied to become partner countries of BRICS. Their identities remain secret, but both have strong trade ties beyond the West. This isn't full membership, but a clear signal. Europe wants a seat at the BRICS Kingdom. The new partner country status lets them align economically without full political commitment. For these nations, it's a pragmatic step to access fast-growing markets and diversify alliances. This move challenges the idea of a unified West and forces Europe to rethink its global strategy. Why this pivot now? The answer is economic necessity. Europe faces sluggish growth and fierce competition, while BRICS offers access to booming markets and resources. Strategic autonomy is another driver. Uncertainty in U.S. politics has made Europe wary of relying solely on Washington. By engaging with BRICS, these nations hedge their bets and diversify their foreign policy. Frustration with slow, ineffective global institutions also plays a role. BRICS' new development bank offers a fresh alternative. The bloc's message of a more equitable world order resonates, even in Europe. By seeking partnership, these countries want a voice in shaping the future, not just reacting to it. It's a proactive move to ensure their interests are represented in a changing world. European countries seeking BRICS partnerships will shake up the EU and NATO. The EU's unity is threatened as members pursue independent ties with a bloc that includes rivals like China and Russia. NATO faces tough questions. Can a country be a loyal ally while partnering with Russia's bloc? This could create a two-tiered Europe, some doubling down on the West, others hedging their bets. The US may pressure these nations to choose sides, risking new tensions. The EU and NATO must adapt, recognizing that economic and security interests no longer always align. Flexibility and diplomacy will be crucial to prevent fractures in Western unity. The old assumptions about alliances are being rewritten in real time. Dr. Anja Schmidt, a global alliances expert, calls this trend strategic hedging. Middle-power countries, including some in Europe, are diversifying their alliances to reduce risk in a multipolar world. It's like managing an investment portfolio. Keep traditional ties, but invest in new opportunities like BRICS. This isn't betrayal, it's a pragmatic strategy for survival and prosperity. Internal Western divisions, like US political gridlock, accelerate this trend. BRICS, despite its differences, projects momentum and growth, attracting countries seeking stability. The challenge for the West is to respond constructively, not punitively. Forcing countries to choose could push them further toward BRICS. The future of diplomacy will be defined by overlapping partnerships, not rigid blocs. Flexibility and cooperation are the new currency of global influence. For European nations, BRICS partnership offers major economic benefits: access to new markets, investment, and development funding. It also boosts diplomatic influence, positioning them as bridge builders between the West and global South. But the risks are real. Backlash from EU and NATO allies, strained relationships, and potential isolation. Navigating this tightrope demands diplomatic skill and constant balancing of interests. There's also the danger of being caught in conflicts between old allies and new partners. Aligning with a bloc that includes authoritarian states raises tough questions about values and human rights. One misstep could have severe economic and security consequences. The stakes have never been higher for those daring to walk this line. The world stands at a pivotal crossroads where the established order is being redefined. European nations, long accustomed to operating within a Western-centric framework, are now actively seeking new partnerships with the BRICS bloc. This shift is not just a matter of diplomacy, but a recognition that the global landscape is changing in profound ways. The post-Cold War era, which saw decades of Western dominance and a relatively stable international system, is giving way to something new. A multipolar order is emerging, where influence and power are distributed more widely across the globe. This transition is marked by both uncertainty and opportunity, as nations reassess their roles and alliances. The rise of BRICS and Europe's growing interest in collaboration reflect a widespread demand for a more balanced, inclusive, and representative global system. Countries are no longer content to be passive players. They want a seat at the table and a voice in shaping the rules. In response, nations are building new institutions and frameworks to advance their interests. Europe, recognizing the shifting tides, is pragmatically joining this transformation, seeking to ensure its relevance and prosperity in the new order. Today, economic needs and the pursuit of strategic autonomy are taking precedence over old ideological alignments. Countries are prioritizing growth, innovation, and resilience, forging partnerships that transcend traditional boundaries. This new era is defined by complexity, constant negotiation, and the need for careful balancing. The world is more interconnected than ever, and decisions made in one region can have ripple effects across continents. Leaders must now manage overlapping relationships, navigating a web of interests and alliances, all while ensuring that competition does not escalate into open conflict. Diplomacy, flexibility, and foresight are more crucial than ever. The challenges we face, climate change, pandemics, economic instability, demand cooperation that goes beyond rigid blocks or narrow interests. Only by working together can nations hope to find lasting solutions. The future of the global order depends on wise, inclusive, and forward-thinking management of this historic transition. Every decision made today will shape the world for generations to come. As the world changes at breakneck speed, it's up to all of us, leaders, citizens, and communities, to engage, debate, and actively shape the alliances and partnerships of tomorrow. The dawn of a new global order is not just a challenge, but an opportunity for collective progress.